Hi, everybody. Lisa Kessler, Kessler Insurance, Kessler Insurance, and here on behalf of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire, and get to be here again with my dear friend Joanne Burchuk. Hey, Joanne.
Hi, Lisa. Yes, I'm Joanne Burchuk with Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and just so excited to have another episode with our Cheers for Charity, and we have another great one to bring to you today. So we'd like to welcome Patty, and she is with Pet Aid, a new nonprofit. So Patty, welcome, and we look forward to hearing everything about what you guys are doing.
Well,
Just introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about it.
all right. Well, first of all, I really want to thank you both for giving us this opportunity to be here and to talk about New Hampshire Pet Aid. We are a brand spanking new organization that came together during COVID, actually. In fact, we just got our 501c3 last year in 2021 and have been raising money and now funding cases. So we started our mission overall, so that is clear right out of the gate, is that we're helping pet owners in need pay for urgent veterinary care for their cat or dog. And the way this all started, it was kind of started simultaneously on two different tracks. There was a veterinarian in the Rochester, Somersworth area that could see a profound need in helping folks living on the financial edge, especially when there was an emergency or unexpected situation with one of their beloved pets, cat or dog, that they needed help. And oftentimes they were having to make this horrific decision between euthanizing or surrendering their beloved pet because they just simply couldn't afford an emergency medical procedure that came at them from out of the blue. And all of us who own or have pets in our lives know that horrible feeling when your pet is sick or has had an accident or something, and they're in pain, and you take them to the veterinarian and you are like, help, can there be something to help my animal? And so we wanted to help alleviate kind of that question of, can I pay for this procedure, or do I have to think about surrendering my pet or euthanizing my pet? So we wanted to help with that moment. And so the veterinarian, Dr. Dan Kelleher, was meeting and starting. He had a group of folks that he was meeting with up in that area. And then I, at the same time, about several years before that, also had this idea. I had seen an ad in the Portsmouth Herald for a dog named Brownie. Best photo of a dog I've ever seen. A dog named Brownie who had to be surrendered to the SPCA because the family couldn't care for its medical needs. And it was I wanted to adopt that dog, but my husband said, no, we can't do that. I just wanted to reach out and adopt it. And that's when I also had this idea, well, having been involved with Women Aid of Greater Portsmouth, an all volunteer organization that helps people in that moment of crisis, I kind of was like, well, maybe there should be a pet aid, right? So it turned out that we had Dr. Kelleher and I had a mutual friend who introduced us and said, hey, you two should meet each other. So that came together. I attended a meeting of the folks he was meeting with, and they had no nonprofit background or experience. That's what I was able to kind of bring to the table, along with a couple of real crackerjacks in the field, Diane Schaefer, who's been involved with nonprofit work and has been doing development for years, and ML Hannay, who had a consulting business called Hannay and Associates. She consulted with nonprofits. So we all came together and formed a board with 8 people and started this organization. That's a long intro for you.
No, it's perfect. It's always nice to get a little background on, because I think a lot of people get really great ideas and they don't really know how to move forward. And so it was nice to hear a little bit about the story and, where this concept, began from. So, so tell us a little bit. So, it's heartbreaking that, you would ever have to be in that decision. And you're right, people are having to make those decisions. How do people get in touch with you or qualify to receive one of these grants?
That's a great question. So we offer up to $500 for an urgent veterinary need. And the way that people get to us is through our website. So it's nhpetaid.org. And it's a kind of, like most places, a kind of multi-purpose website. So people can donate there if they want, or they can access our application form online as well. And there are a couple of things that we need. We need to verify that this individual is in need. So we ask for information about whether they're on some sort of assistance already, state assistance, federal assistance. And then we also request that they upload, as part of the application, a treatment plan for the animal. And one of the important things that we assess before we decide to fund up to $500 is to make sure there's a favorable prognosis for the animal. So that's where the veterinarian sort of vetting, if you will, the application and coming up with a treatment plan and kind of verifying that in their best guess that this will have a favorable prognosis. So I'm going to give you an example. Yesterday, our board was meeting and a request came in, and it was for a cat who had been hit by a car and had a fractured sternum and nerve damage. And I mean, that's an urgent, upsetting situation. The individual qualified as needing financial assistance. And so we typically are able, because of the system, the infrastructure we've created, we're typically able to make a decision within just a few hours. And so when an application comes through on our website, we get pinged. A few of the people on the decision team on our board get pinged that there's a request that's in, and then they can act on it quickly. And so we have 3 people on our board. We have 9 people on the board total, but 3 of the folks are part of the decision team that take that request and field it and work it really quickly. 2 of them are veterinarians or vet techs or in that profession, so they can do a good job assessing what this case is. And then we always have a non-veterinarian board member as part of the decision team to kind of keep track and do all of those other detail-oriented things that are required for the organization to, so that we're keeping track of everything appropriately. So that's pretty much how people get to us. We just started funding cases this year in the summer. We just started. We first needed to raise money, so we got the 501c3, and I do want to also add that we have been so incredibly fortunate that there have been professionals in the community who have donated their services to us. So a legal team donated their services so that we could get that 501c3 status. Some lawyers from Donahue, Tucker, and Shandella. And then we had a website designer from Wilson and Gould who donated her services to help us create that website. Those are huge expenses typically when a nonprofit is starting up. And we just are so fortunate so that when we got that 501c3 nonprofit status, we were able to hit the ground running and start raising money so that we could start funding cases. So it's all been kind of a whirlwind, frankly, and it's gone pretty well, very well, actually. We seem to have kind of even hit a stride a little bit on the structure. And yeah, so right now we're doing of course, like every other fundraiser, I'm sure people you're talking to tis the season, right? Giving Tuesday kind of kicked off everything. So we are fortunate to have a $5,000 match opportunity so that we could, by December 31st, raise hopefully $10,000. So we're on our way, but we're not there yet. So.
Well, that sounds like a great fundraising opportunity. You always love when you can double your money.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've been very fortunate for that. So, oh, one thing I should mention, just because we're new and we're just making sure we're, a smooth running operation, we are only taking requests from residents in Strafford County and Rockingham County. Now, that's a lot. Rockingham County has 28 towns in New Hampshire. That's a pretty good chunk. So, and combine that with Strafford, which I think has 14 or something. So it's a pretty good area that our catchment area that we're covering. The individual, the pet owner has to be from one of those towns, but that doesn't mean that they have to see a veterinarian in one of those towns. So I'm a great example. I live in New Hampshire, but my veterinarian for our cat is in Kittery, Maine. So, people who have veterinarians outside of our catchment areas still qualify.
How are we getting the word out to the veterinarians? Because obviously, an average pet owner isn't gonna know that this is available unless, of course, they watch our video here. But how the vets know that this is available to them to refer their patients to?
Another great question. Thank you, Joanne. Because this is exactly what we're also simultaneously trying to do. We're raising money, but we're also trying to raise awareness. So first of all, I really hope this gets, make some rounds so people know. But we've also personally, the veterinarians on our board have reached out to those colleagues that they work with or know about. So we've had that, as well as we realize people don't know about us yet. We're brand new. So a lot of the times it's the individual who's Googled us or Googled, resources to help, or has found us by word of mouth. And then they let their vet know about us. So, it's kind of coming at it from all different directions right now as we try to get the word out about us. So that's why I was especially thrilled that you wanted to meet with us or me and have this conversation, because we really are trying to get the word out to veterinarians. One of the things that we did is we made these magnets because they were not that expensive. And so we went around to a few of the veterinarians that we know and work with already, or, near enough, to give them that so they could put it on their like file cabinets so they can see our resource or think about it. But it's a bit of a curve. I think we have to, get out there a little bit and let the vets know that we're there. But once they do, they seem to be really appreciative, and we have seen them repeatedly ask or have their clients apply to us. And it's been like any startup, we initially were worried about putting our application on the website because we thought, oh, we're going to get flooded and we're not going to have enough of the funds raised to be able to help people. And we initially reached out to like 15 veterinarians and said, we want you to give them the application, or, point them to the kind of secure spot online where they could be given the address online for accessing the application. But, we realized we needed to ramp it up a little more than that and get it more widely spread. So that's why we are reaching out to veterinarians a little more broadly and figuring it out and offering the application on the website so people can access it.
Well, being online, it's one more timely, especially if the pet is in a urgent health need. But I'm sure the vets are absolutely thrilled. Like, I can't imagine from, their perspective, seeing this, they're obviously in the field because they love animals and they want to help animals. And then to, see the owner struggle, because of the financial situation, and this must be such a relief for them to be able to offer to them a means so that, this person has a solution to, or help to, get their pet better. And,
Absolutely.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win for them, they.
It is a win-win. And here's another unexpected thing that's kind of been getting our attention. Not every procedure is $500 or less, right? Sometimes they're complicated. Sometimes, they're more than $500. $500 makes a pretty darn good dent. But especially when we're talking about something that has a favorable prognosis, right? We're not treating cancer or any prolonged illness. But here's the interesting thing. We have noticed that people, when they are able to say that they got the grant or funding from us for $500, they're able to sort of leverage that and maybe then set up a GoFundMe to raise the rest of the funds, or oftentimes, more often actually, a friend or family member will also come in with a little bit of funds to help that individual. I think it's interesting because it kind of gives that person a leg up. It may not cover the entire need, but it makes a dent, and it really helps to kind of leverage it the rest of the way. So yeah, I would say veterinarians are glad when they know about us. They're very glad that we're doing this work. And it's just, I think we all, I have a dog and a cat, so I have no bias one way or another, but there's I think we all learned as a society that during COVID, our pets became so important in a mental health and well-being aspect that I think when we were starting all of this, and we don't even meet in person. It was over a year before the 8 board members, 9 then, met in person. We just kept meeting on Zoom and having our meetings on Zoom. So, but I think, during COVID, we all realized the importance of what pets bring to our lives. And it's substantial. I think it is. And I think the statistics say it is too. So.
No argument here.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
We're definitely pet lovers. So what are you looking for now? Donations, volunteers, board members, all the above, awareness? What's your thing?
Another great question. You guys are great with questions. I really appreciate it. So we are doing this match, as I said. We have no staff. We don't have an office. And so all the money and because we have such limited administrative costs, we had some upfront printing costs so that we could create letterhead and a logo, and we have the website. But basically, we have very minimal administrative costs. So the board has agreed to fund that going forward, so that all the money we raise from any donor goes directly toward helping the people in need. And so we launched, we got a $5,000 gift from a combined group of generous donors. And we launched then this match, and we're hoping to match that by the end of December. And people can learn about that and donate to us at nhpetaid.org. If they have any questions, the email's on there too, but it's nhpetaid@gmail.com. So they can ask any questions. But in terms of volunteers, Lisa, you asked about volunteers. We don't know yet. We've been a little careful about doing events or things because we didn't, as a new organization that's not well known or established yet, I think we certainly didn't want to set an event up and then have to cancel it because of COVID. So I think we were hanging back a little bit. And as we all find our equilibrium a little more around COVID, then I think Pet Aid will probably do some sort of event to get us a little more known in the community. So in that case, we would want volunteers to help us. But at this point, I don't know. If we actually on our website, if they're interested in volunteering, they can, there's a place where they can put in their information, and we're pretty great at getting back and saying, all right, we're going to keep you on a list. we may not have anything right now, but we're going to get back in touch with you once we do any kind of event. And in the meantime, if anybody is interested in hosting, a smaller gathering, a house party or something for us, I think our intention in the spring is to do a few of those to, so that someone would host maybe a cocktail party or whatever they're comfortable hosting, invite their friends, and then someone from our board would come and just give a little pitch or explanation about what Pet Aid is. And that way, then I guess I'm sort of hoping we'll be able to do more of those in the spring comfortably.
It's so funny, Patty, because when Lisa and I first came up with the concept for Cheers for Charity on Age, it was all that. Like that was exactly, it was getting together, small groups, have a little party, bring in a charity, everybody throws in money, they walk home with the money, we had fun, and we raised a little money for a charity. That was the whole premise, and then COVID, so.
It's a fabulous formula.
I know, right? And it's fun. Why not?
And it's how Women Aid started. Women Aid started with house parties like that. And so it's a good model. I know it's successful. It can work. So yeah. And I just have to pay a little homage to Women Aid. A lot of Pet Aid was modeled on Women Aid. And, so, but not entirely. It's its own thing. I mean, because we offer kind of an urgent response that really shifts and makes it somewhat different as an organization. We have to be, ready. Yeah. But that's ironic. Yeah, I know. So we all have these great, I hope to get back there to those house parties and those wonderful gatherings where it's fun, but you're also doing something meaningful and good. And, it's more than fun, more than just fun.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, Patty, I'm so glad you spent time with us today. I love hearing about Pet Aid. I think it's important work. And I think, especially for those people, our pets are important to all of us. But I can't imagine when times get really tight anyway, and that stress level, to not have that pet there for your mental health, right? Like it's just a gift to have that pet that is in so many ways it provides almost therapy, right? Even if they're not trained, that's love, it's that attention. So thank you for helping those families stay together and stay healthy, and for giving back to the community in a way that no one else is doing it. And we're so grateful.
Thank you. I so appreciate this opportunity. And if anybody's listening to this and they want to have me do anything else, I'll get the word out. However we can get the word out, I want to get the word out about it, because it really, I hope it will really make a difference in people's lives going forward. So thank you so much, both of you, for this opportunity. It's been great to talk about it.
Our pleasure. Take care.
Thanks.